Alright, everyone. So, we're going to be covering mods. We'll start with the codex, and then we'll move to our mod station. And this is just kind of, again, familiarize yourself with the tools available for finding out about mods. The nice thing is it shows you which ones you have, but it also gives you a search one, and like you can break it down by say, primary mods. Sort by rank is what I have currently. You can do rank, rarity, price, name, polarity, price to max it out, I believe. Um, Type, rank, and duplicates. So I generally have mine by rank because it shows me the ones I have if I want to. But say you wanted to know where to get something like Shattered Lash or Shattering Justice. Well, no. Hmm. What one is it? Storm? Is it a storm one? It is not a storm one. Hmm. Anyway, so these work fine too. You can learn how to get certain things. So, like for the Paris Prime, they restore 50 health for every 3 status effects you deal, and then extra status chance. You get that from the Entrati or things like Firestorm. It shows they come from boilers and ancients, as well as just from the node on Eris, Naglar. So it's like an A, B, or C, probably a C rotation. Drop chance. So you can just find out things like that. Stormbringer, the 115 methods finding it. So that can be really useful, like if you know what mod you want, um, and you just kind of need to find it. They change. Oh, I'm still on primary only. That's why. Okay, that's yeah. Okay, so like crushing ruin, is a really rare one, or it was. I don't know if it is anymore. Anyway, so it shows you like Arid Seekers, Dekar Seekers, Frontier Seekers, Tribute Seekers. Anyway, it shows all these, and that kind of tie. So finding out what unit it drops from can be helpful because then you can go to is it enemies? Factions. Okay, so you can then use the codex where you get scans, and so seekers. So where's a Dekar seeker? Have I not completed all of my scans? I have. Okay, cool. So if you completed all your scans, it will show you the full information of all the things that they can drop and their rarity, and locations, a general, basic thing, armor, health. So that's at level 1. And then there's a formula like on their page on the wiki, which you can go check that out. That shows how that scales up and shows vulnerabilities to corrosive. Regions that they're found are Earth and Uranus, and heavily armored. So that's one reason corrosive is useful against them. Um, so there are different colors to mods. Yeah, I probably should start this. There are 3 basic categories to mods, and then there are a bunch of specialized categories for mods. The 3 basic categories for mods are common, uncommon, rare. And then there's a bunch of situational mods. So, a good example of a situational mod, we're going to go to the mod thing so I can show you. So, this is your owned mods, and that's how it's used. So some of the things you can check out are like, what do I want to use? What's going to show a situational mod the fastest? Railjack is good. So Railjack mods follow the same scheme, but they're only for your Railjack. Simple, kind of. Antique mods big spoiler here. So these are mods that are made for your pardon me, your Taron strike, your Taron weapon. One of the five, depending on which school you went for and built. So it's kind of a situational one. You notice that they're random colors. I think that denotes which school they're from. Looks like it, possibly, maybe not. Anyway, so they're all different colors, and so that's kind of one of the situational ones. Another one of the situational ones is amalgam. Amalgam mods come from two locations. One is Jupiter, from an amalgam enemy. They're a specialty enemy on Jupiter. And the other ones, which would be amalgam organ shatter, amalgam serration, it might also be amalgam barrel diffusion. It might be these four here. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, they come from doing the Thermia Fractures event on Venus. I think you have to do it up to like the second or third rank on the list. It's like 35 Thermia Fractures, which you can get more than one fracture per Thermia mission, so that helps. That's probably for a better vid. There are people who've made wonderful vids on running that mission. Highly recommend going at them because my vid's gonna be like get a squad and prepare to suffer. Those are my feelings on the mission. Anyway, but so it's a limited amount of each one, or a limited subset, I should say, of these ones because they're situational. They only come from certain things. Another big one is the galvanized mods, which come from the Arbiters of Hexus in the relay. However, the way you buy them is with the special resource from doing arbitrations, which anyone can do an arbitration. It's a free for all thing. It's not limited to just the Arbiters of Hexus. In fact, a good way to imagine is people wanting to step from playing the regular Star Chart missions into doing the Steel Path. There was a creator, I think their name was Sabuchi, years ago, made a 1 to 2 minute short. Was one of the best descriptors of people wanting to make that step effectively. And I'm butchering it, but basically it's like you think you're great when you finish the Star Chart. You try to go to the Steel Path, you suck at it, so you do arbitrations in the middle to one, learn how to not be so sucky, but two, because the difficulty is increased in ways that are similar to in the Steel Path. You know, you have enemies that have special features, which is kind of just the whole of the Steel Path. But also it's so you can get that, I think it's Vitus Essence, in order to trade with the Arbiters of Hexus in order to get galvanized mods. And galvanized mods are a way of just turning your damage up to 11. So it's super useful for there. And then obviously you have your ribbons. I don't have any. So, and they come in veiled, unveiled, veiled, unveiled, and revealed. So, like, you have to equip it or activate it to see what it is for the basic ones. And then, ones that you've completed are for specific weapons and do specific things. The little circle, the refresh button with the number of times is the number of times you've rolled one. And you can re-roll them using Kuva in order to get a difference in what the mod does. Sometimes you don't have to do that. Sometimes you do. Like my Dread one that I have here, I never had to re-roll because I liked it. It was good. Crit chance, crit damage, and electricity, that's just a good combo. Whereas my Deconstructor, this is for one of my companions, I've re-rolled 16 times. Probably will re-roll it more at some point. So it just depends. But those are kind of the situational mods. And while we're here, we're going to talk about Ayatan's well, treasures, because in order to level up your mods, you need two resources. One of them is called Endo. It's right here. It can be found in missions, dissolved from mods, or extracted from Ayatans, which are the treasures here, and credits. You need credits too. In order to max rank certain mods, if we go back to the galvanized ones, no, just yeah. So in order to take like galvanized steel, uh, is it right clicking it now? Anyway, you can rank it like so. In order to max rank this, we'll take 1.5 million credits and 37 or 31 almost thousand endo, and take your rating up. So that's kind of something you can do. If you have a legendary core, which I have a number of, you get them from mastery ranks after 30 a lot of times, or if you are super lucky. Anyway, they could be used. Not going to waste it on this. It's not that important. And I have the credits and endo to do it. Anyway, I-10 sculptures though. So I-10 treasures can be found randomly in missions. They show up as on loot radar, or by completing Maroo's daily hunt, or from certain sellers on the open worlds, or from doing a sortie. Generally those. So sorties, Maroo's Bazaar, Archon hunts. So your weekly hunt things can have a chance of doing it, and your daily hunt things. And then you might be able to find some of them just on random missions, and they'll show up on loot radar. And empty ones sell for a certain amount. So this one, in this case, sells for 2,000 when it's empty. However, when you put the Ayatan stars into it, amber or cyan, and it says how many, it sells for almost an additional 1,500, an additional 1,450, and they look pretty. They become decorations for people. These are no longer the best way to get endo. With sorry, with a lot of the more recent world bounties being able to award 1,000, 1,500, or 3,000 endo, this is no longer the quickest way to get endo. It used to be, but it's not anymore. But it is still useful when you're starting out, because you may not have access or may not be good at doing the bounties that can give those high amounts. So, and this is a passive way you can make endo on the side. Also, swag for your orbiter. Who knows? Your choice. And obviously, you have to visit Maroo in order to do the weekly hunt. So that's kind of the basics of mods. Um, where they are, how to find, maybe where to get some. Very general overview of the different types. Um, which like the stance mods, are specific for weapons. Like, there's a lot more nuance, but again, just a general introduction of where to find more information on specific mods and things. So, like I said, I hope that helped someone. Um, and yeah, thank you for watching. Everybody have a fantastic and wonderful day. Thank you.